Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome back to another episode of Voice of Youth, the return of Voice of Youth. We are back, better than ever, bigger than ever, and ready to bring you some more episodes. So we have more guests, new topics, stuff we've planned out, so that way we can go on for a while longer. At the same time, we cover a wider range of topics, things that people want to talk about, and events that are happening, and the way that everything is changing around us. So with this return itself, we have two guests joining us today, Taj and Taman. So let's introduce them now. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. How are you two doing? You're here for the return of Voice of Youth. It must be an honor for you two to be on the show right now. Guys, excited?
Yeah, definitely, and it's a first for me, so very interested in this.
Taj is speechless. I see. That's amazing to see. Yes. Taman, you're with us for the first time. Taj has been with us a couple of times. So welcome to Taman and welcome back to Taj. So today in this episode itself, we are talking about the importance of Smagams. As we currently know in Victoria, where all three of us reside, isolation is still happening. Lockdown is still happening. So we can't have Smagams. And the upcoming Shappan Samagam, which normally would happen towards the end of the year in the Christmas break, might or might not happen. And we're here to talk about this. Hopefully, all things work out and the Shappan Samagam does go ahead. Taman, you've been currently reside in Shappan, and you've had a big part in learning a lot about how the Samagams work and stuff. Tell us a bit about the chances or how things are looking with Shappan Samagam this year.
So right now, Victoria looks like to hopefully be returning back to normal by the 23rd of November. So we do have a month in between, and depending on how the rules and regulations occur, we might have a possibility of a Samagam. Look, we might not be able to get someone as an international Kirtani, but Australia has so much talent in itself that we might not even need it. Because normally when it comes to Shappan and Smagam, we only call one or two Kirtanis from outside, but the rest is we rely on our local Kirtanis and national Kirtanis to do the job.
And that's a big thing about Shappan and Smagam as well. It's, in my opinion, it's one of my favorite Smagams. And I know that sounds like such a bad thing to say that you have a favorite Smagam, but always, for some reason, Shappan and Smagam always has this vibe to it, has so much josh. Like it's that environment because it's in a regional area. The Gurdwara, it's like that perfect size of not too big that you get like everyone's spaced out and crowded, but not too small where it feels like I'm like shoulders with some random baba who's like whoa, 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 or something like that.
Especially with COVID, yeah. Now everyone's spectacle about like someone coughing. So like, I agree with you as well. Like, I'm not being biased or anything. Shappan is one of my favorite Smagams, but it's not because like it's that I live here. It's just because just the atmosphere that the Sangat creates is one of the main reasons that it allows us to have such an amazing Smagam. And not only that, but at the same time, we also remember the Jar Sabjade, the Shahidi of Baba Ji Singh, Baba Jha Singh, Baba Zorawar Singh, Baba Fateh Singh. And like at that time, it's very emotional for the Pant anyways. But when everyone gets together, that's why I think all the Josh comes together because all the Shahidiyan that occurred in that time also has a massive factor and impact at that time.
It's all these small things that really play a part. And before we carry on with that, let's cut over to Taj. You've been avoiding you, been a little silent with you. But so tell us, you've been doing online kirtan with your brother and like trying to get other people to join in, featured ones. Taman, did you do any of the online kirtan with them?
Yeah, they asked me to do once or twice. So I was very blessed with the opportunity they've given me. Yeah.
Couple times with you as well. So possibilities like going back to an actual Samagam or even just comparing the online Kirtan Samagams. Obviously, it's so different to actually being in a Samagam. But tell us a bit about that experience of actually having these online Kirtan.
Well, I mean, obviously everyone knows online Kirtan, it's a bit different. It's very different, in fact, to actually coming into a gurdwara and listening to Kirtan. I mean, even when you listen to recordings of Kirtan where there is Sangat, it's different because the feeling isn't there without the Sangat singing along with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most important things about Kirtan to get together and sing. And so obviously you can't do the same with online Kirtan, but it's an attempt to do whatever we can during this time. So I mean, obviously, I love listening to online Kirtan as well, but
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to back in Sangat and Shepherd and Smagam, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully that comes back. So we're talking for this episode itself the importance of samagams, and I'd just like to get each of your thoughts. Maybe one or two things that you really like is most important to you about a samagam. Might have been an experience, maybe it's something that you just really enjoy about any sort of samagam. Taman, we'll start with you. Can you tell us anything?
So probably when I was younger, I think first of all the kids camp, and obviously like the sangat is such a major part to it, but the kids camp also like helped me a lot to understand like what sangat was, why we come to smagams. So that aspect of things started everything off. So with learning about sakya, like talking to other kids about how they feel being at the smagams, if they're bored or they're enjoying it. And at the end, getting that trophy to take home with you and some sort of memory that, oh, I went to the Smagam and this is what I learned when I was younger.
Yeah, plastic trophies. I remember those trophies was like plastic gold or whatever. They're like on like a stand. It's like they were fun. Yeah, and then
I still
also
have all of mine.
yeah, it's somewhere
Yeah.
in the closet or something. And then I also remember the one of the samagas. I think it was 2006 or 2008 or something. It was an orange bottle, had like the blue words. It kind of the mini samagam or something. I can't remember what they had the dates and stuff, but that was always like something I remember and everyone had. Taj, how about you tell us about one or two things that you really think is really important in a samagam or any experience?
Well, I mean, obviously, Smagam's about getting everyone together and doing Kirtan. So for me, the most important thing or the thing I take away from Smagam is like that notion of daily Kirtan. Every day, you got maybe 4 or 5 days, and you're coming into Sangat every day for Kirtan,
Yeah.
and not just like night programs, Asadivar and the Amrit Vela sessions. I really enjoy those, and for me, that's obviously the most important part of a samagam, kirtan, and sangat.
Yeah.
Just spending time in sangat and sitting down with everyone. That's one of the most important things for me.
Yeah,
And
that's really good, and that's one of the things that also ties to the whole like the return to it was that you mentioned earlier is like that Sunget, hopefully. And then with me, it's fun. I always struggle to sleep, not sleep, stay awake through like ransabites and stuff. But then I always just found it. I always just find getting up early for Amrivela and just when like that environment when there it's not so packed, but there's a lot of people there and they're all like doing this wagyu, 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 and then it's like the lighting is like everything just feels it's like a perfect atmosphere, and that's something I always like really liked. And as much as I love the camps and everything, like I remember once I won one of the awards and I shouldn't have, but then I just liked it because I'm like I won something. But yeah, so why don't we? Why don't what do you guys have any sort of I don't know. The thing about Smargs was that it's all these small things. So, when you brought up something different. You brought up the kids, the environment that you had there when you were younger and stuff. And then Taj brought up that singer, which is also like, the combination of the two would be the fact that during Smargas as well, it's kind of like a huge sleepover as well because you all stay with your friends, you stay up for kirtan, you have your langar, then you go out and do your own thing, and it's somehow got this balance I feel of like social interactions at the same time this religious practice. What are your two thoughts on that, Taman?
I think it's a very good social network with people who are like-minded. So like they obviously when smagams happen, people are there for the sangat or trying to even get into sangat. So like when you have when you meet people in Sangat and like people that become your good friends, some good influences, some people that can help you like in your daily life, man. For me, I made so many a lot of close friends that I have right now today because of Smagams, because of the Sangat that they came into, and we were able to interact. And because of that, I've been able to take away from Smagams outside and have like a long-term friendships with a lot of these people.
Yeah. Because that's one of the huge things that the Samagam gives a chance for interstate like travel. In the past Samagams that people come from Queensland, Western Australia, and yeah, you have the Sangha. Like I remember, like on the first day, it's always like the local Sangha that does the kirtan that's always there and everything. But then the next day, because that night people arrive, and then the next day it slowly goes bigger and bigger, and it's this huge just convergence of people from all around Australia, and then you have people that might come along with the international kirtanis and whatnot, and they always have some sort of weight to them when they come and they do kirtan that the Sangha just goes in an uproar in a sense, with Josh, I should say. That's probably like the most accurate term to it. And I think that's a huge part to play with that feeling you get. Taj, you touched on this a little earlier, that kind of Sangha, that kind of feeling when you have everyone there doing that type of kirtan. Can you describe to us that feeling that you get in that, like essentially what is the mosh pit of a kirtan program, that little area there on the kirtani?
Yeah. Well, so like Samagams, I feel like they're a very unique style of listening to Kirtan together. Because if you go to a Samagam, you'll see like the Kirtan around the Kirtan, there's like a crescent formed, and everyone's trying to get as close as possible. And I mean, you probably described it the best. It is the mosh pit at a Gurdwara, pretty much. And it's just that feeling of everyone singing together, and they're not focusing on like how good of a singer am I or anything. They're just singing and they don't think about it, and so that's really important. Like everyone's singing together.
Yeah, and then some sing or singing, just smashing the kartale so hard that it like breaks into two, or like whatever comes out or something.
Yeah. I know. I already sacrificed some kartale off my own last year at Melbourne Smagam.
Yeah, it's so weird to think that there hasn't been a Samagam this year, because so when you brought this up, I think it was before actually recording this, that there was Melbourne Samagam didn't happen in April, and then there was Sydney was meant to be in September. Yeah,
around this time we would have been in Sydney right now. Yeah.
Oh wow, it's insane to think that this is how it is right now. And I'd just like to touch on, we've had a few personal experiences, we've talked a bit about everything here and there, but because we're talking about the importance of Samagam, I think we should spend the last few minutes of this episode itself talking about the youth involved in it. So not youth as in like maybe not specifically our age, but even those that like little kids that go there for the camps, and just some of the positives about the way this is done. So we talked about how they have awards and how they kind of have these competitions, but then along with that, they have at the start of every kirtan program, and at Samagams as well, they give kids a turn to do kirtan itself. And there have been small opportunities where you see sometimes I don't know who this kid is, this Singh kid. I remember he did tabla for an adult or something. I don't know if you guys know him, but then when I saw that, I was like, this is cool. And I just love it every time there's someone who's young who gets an opportunity to do something in the adult time of the program itself. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the opportunities for kids in a Samagam itself. Taman?
So, for example, for Shepparton, because we don't have a lot of like international kirtans coming, so we do try to prioritize youth and the little children especially at the start, the little kids. But when we call it prime time, we try to give a bit of opportunity to the youth as well. So like they have exposure as well, because we don't like obviously, as I said at the start, we're more of like a national Smagam for the people who live in Australia. We don't really want to say it's international, even though we have people coming in, but we pride ourselves on our local talent and the people that are in Australia. That they deserve a platform to get opportunity to give them.
That Aussie pride, yeah.
Exactly, that's it, man.
To randomly during Kirtan go Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. No, that doesn't happen. How about you, Todd? Were there any experiences you had when you were younger at a Samagam or anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was young, like when I went to a Smartphone for the first time, that was probably like when I was 8 or something. But I didn't really know Kirtan back then anyway. I knew tabla, but I knew like all the other kids, they really look forward to getting a chance to play tabla or like do Kirtan in the Smartphone itself. So I think it's really important, to give the not just like teenagers, but little kids some time at the start of the Kirtan or whenever,
Yeah.
to learn how to do things and give them an opportunity, because I mean they're the ones that are going to be doing it in the future anyway. So it's really important to give them some time as well.
Yeah, and I think it's also really important because one of the things that as a kid, when you see this, there's a camera across the bar and it was being streamed like online somewhere else, and you're like, you have that sort of like it's a good form of pride where you like have this satisfaction where like for me at least, I remember a few times my grandparents can see my sister doing kirtan on this stream itself, and you kind of have like it's like a positive feeling that you can kind of get, which is really good motivation and a kind of satisfaction that these kids can get as well. And especially when I brought up earlier the Amrit Vela and everything, that they get kids to also do some of the part. And I think that's a really good opportunity and a way for them to kind of build up their own confidence and actually get them to do part itself. So that's my final thoughts on this. Do either of you want to just share some final thoughts on the Samagam itself, previous Samagams, what you love about it, or anything of the sort? Taj, I'll get you to go first this time.
Well, I mean, first of all, I am just really looking forward to going to Samagam again. I mean, I'll be honest, Shepparton Smagam is one of my favorites just because of the vibe you get there. And I don't know, it's kind of like a home feeling, even though you're away from home. And I love it. It's probably because it's in the country. And but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that again. And I mean, when I started going to Smagams before that, the only real Kirtan I had was like once a week go to Gurdwara, go to some family camp at the end of the year, and that's it. But when I came to Smagams, it was like 5 days lagatar, every day coming to a Smagam and listening to Kirtan. I'm just really looking forward to that, and I know a lot of people are as well.
Yeah, that's nice. How about you, Taman?
So as I agree with Sirtaj about Smagam, the Shepparton Smagam, and coming like obviously Shepparton, we have like a decent population of like Sikhs here, yeah. But one thing they always look forward, which we've got feedback over the last couple of years as well, that they look forward to the Smagam as well. So they have the opportunity of doing seva and the sangat of other people that come from far away. So a lot of people are very prideful of that. They're very happy about that happening. So not only does that give us the satisfaction that we're doing seva for other people, it's just the people, our local sangat is very like happy with the whole Smagam. And they were saying like, regardless of what happens, Shepparton Smagam has to happen every year.
If it's gonna go digital, it goes digital. That's the thing. Gotta have it.
Yeah.
At least one Samagam, like one major Samagam that happens this year. Because was there an online Samagam done?
Yeah, there was one in I think Canada that was done. Yep.
Yeah. So we've had some streamed here, but can we get one coming in Victoria as well? But yeah, so thank you too for joining me today on the return episode of Voice of Youth, where we've talked about Samagams, the importance of Samagams and everything. It's going to be really great to go back to have a Samagam, and it was nice kind of thinking back about some of the past Samagams we've had and some of the opportunities that are there and can still happen in the future as well. So thank you too for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. So to everyone out there, please subscribe, follow the channel, and stay tuned to Voice of Youth, and make sure you leave a comment down below on what you would like to discuss. Maybe you could share some of your own personal experiences at a Samagam, even if you are a little not considered youth per se. Let us know what you thought about a Samagam, because everyone surely is missing them. So let us know that. Make sure you like the video and share it around. And thank you too once again for coming to this episode as well. So without further ado, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.